I've been thinking about this since I watched the series, and I don't know whether you are the bravest person I know or the nuttiest person.
Yeah, probably a little bit of both.
Yes.
Maybe more nutty.
I've always loved adventure.
Being on that edge makes me feel most alive.
This time, I'll be guided by some extraordinary people who really know how to push their edge.
Ready for this or what? Was it maybe something where you felt like, okay, this is a lasting example for your kids to show them how you can push your physical limits, your mental limits, and really
Overcome your fear.
Yeah, I don't know.
100%, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that my kids, Daisy's only 3.5, but she did see some clips of me and she was like, Daddy's flying. It was like, and she used to say, Daddy's an airplane. It was like, Daddy fly.
Daddy's
She'd see
an
these
airplane.
little clips, and I hope that at one time in my life I'll look back and be like, oh, I did that.
My grandmother used to always say this to me, that like faith is on the other side of fear, right? And that's where the blessings lie. Yeah, wow. And so I'm wondering, like, where in your head did you say, were you thinking that? Like, I gotta face these fears?
Yeah, literally, I want to be your grandmother. First of all, I think it was, it's a combination of things, but I think partly my makeup, like the things that have happened in my life, this remarkable body that I'm in, and the opportunity to live in the world that I live in, I think, led to this opportunity that was not, I think we all have fears in life. We all have the edge of what is comfortable, and for one person it may be, a social environment. They're just not comfortable with that.
Right.
And for somebody else it may be, just getting outside or doing, for me it happened to be, some kind of mad extreme sort of sports. But having been, a bit of a thrill seeker through my life, or at least been kind of having felt very present in those moments of abject terror, as it were. Interestingly, I kind of, as a kid, I became an actor because, which is unusual, but I was terrified of being on stage. I had real stage fright as a kid.
Really?
Yeah, in all my school plays. But I never felt more focused and more present than when I was like in that process or feeling that feeling. So like to your grandmother's point, like when you push through the fear, that's where you find the faith and the trust, or the feeling of being capable of overcoming the obstacles in your life, and what those obstacles, give, the lessons that you get from the other side of that. And in a way, for me, the show, put me in some really extreme situations. And I think that, the takeaway was like, being present to those moments and those extreme moments. But when you condense that down, it's like being just present with my family, in my life, with my friends, in the moments that are happening around me. And I think that was something that was probably overcoming my fear and being present to my experience of that moment is the thing that was like the greatest takeaway in a way.
He can't help himself. He wants to push it. This time, there could be consequences.
He's got kids, so I want to make sure he knows all of the risks.
I think in this, I fall more to where your best friend falls. Like, Orlando, are you sure? I mean, you're a daddy now. You got 2 kids.
Yeah.
You have a family.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure?
Yeah. I think, look, obviously, I was being trained by the best of the best, and they were handpicked. And Luke Aikens being this remarkable athlete who's jumped from 25,000 feet, the stratosphere, without a parachute, and has landed in a net. Camila, who is the Mexican freediving world champion, has swum to 80 plus meters, and Will Trowbridge, who runs the Vertical Blues, world record title holder, and then Mobek, who is this adaptive climber who was born with one hand and overcame all the obstacles that life could possibly throw at her, especially in her field, to become an expert in it. So I think the playing ground was set for me to have a really remarkable, life-changing experience. And I think it was like my mental fortitude and determination, and at least to trust the protocols, to trust the teacher, to trust the moment, to be present to the moment, and to push past the abject fear and terror.
When you put yourself out of your comfort zone, you'll surprise yourself. Who doesn't need to step outside their comfort zone? Here we go.
We saw Katy show up to that jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and what I loved about this series in particular, because for me, like, it touched on all the things, you know, you pulled back the veil a little bit on your all's relationship. I love that you would call her before and after and the check-in. And she was very supportive of this. And I think she said at one point, like, I really loved it. This is a breakthrough for you. So what does that do for you from her when you're going through those things?
Oh, it's so encouraging. We both, I think, really, you know, we're both, I think, you know, cheerleaders for each other. And I think she does push, she definitely pushes me to be the best version of myself. I think we both hold each other accountable as best we can, you know, at different times. And I think that's part of what, you know, works for us as a couple who are trying to evolve. But her support was, you know, obviously, you know, immensely important, and it always is. And I think in some way she maybe didn't fully grasp quite what extreme I was going to, which there may have been, you know, but you know, I think she was also aware that it was a necessary part of this journey for me and that chapter of my life, and she understands how I am and how I operate.
Listen, that is so key in a partnership and relationship, when your person gets you and realizes, like, oh no, this is what my man needs to be even better for us.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
I'm serious.
It's true. I think, you know, coming home and to my family and being more present because I'm more grateful and I'm aware of what's at stake. I think, you know, that's a benefit.
I can dig it. I can dig it for real. Listen to you. Give me gems. Orlando's giving me little gems to take in my life. I love that.
This is 1,000% do not fall territory. You're looking confident, though.
Well, I am an actor. I'm supposed to make it look like I know what I'm doing.
The rock climbing, was that physically the toughest thing for you?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was,
it looked like it.
And the mental aspect, in the sense that Mo and I were connected by a lifeline, and my lack of experience, especially around the gear and what it takes. I mean, people climb for years before they attempt, you know, ancient art, and I was attempting it after, you know, a week of training, and you know, again, she knew what was at stake and what was necessary. And this remarkable woman, by the way, born, you know, is an adaptive climber, has been born with one hand, and has become the best in her field, and, you know, just very cool, and as a human as well, how she lives, you know? Like, that was the thing, one of the biggest takeaways was people have asked me, well, are you gonna do that again? Are you gonna climb again? And I'd love to, you know,
Right.
I would love to climb again, and I hope to get to fly with Luke again at some point. But, you know, in some ways, these are people who dedicate their lives to these extreme sport and adventures, and it's something that you can't take lightly. So I wouldn't encourage anyone just to jump into the ocean and, like, have a swim down. It's like you know, you need support. You need a technical team. You need to learn. You know, there's nothing easy or safe about these things. So you need to.
So you would be okay, though, if your son or your daughter came home and said, we want to do this?
I think under the right circumstances, like, I would fully support, you know, Flynn's decision to do anything like that. If he was making a decision to, you know, to do it under the right circumstances with the right education and team, and I think things come down to, like, that. That's what's, you know, important. Hopefully they'll have seen me do it and go, we don't need to do that, you did it.
We see the wheels turning.
Yeah.
Daddy's an airplane, he can stay there.
I'm not in that position just yet, but yeah.